Hello everyone, this is Koreth Landwalker, and tonight we have another exciting episode of Star Trek Online in space. Hi Fiendy. To recap where we left off last time, and it occurs to me I better chop this down dramatically because we've been through a lot to get to this point. The short version, however, is that we are in the Delta Quadrant helping clean up some of the messes that Voyager left behind after its historic 7-year voyage. Voyage, okay. That was too easy. In any event, one of those loose ends involved a species called the Vaadwaur, who are currently, how can I put it gently, kicking the ass of everybody they come into contact with in the Delta Quadrant until we showed up. And it ain't an easy fight for us either. One of the things they're doing right now is invading a planet known as Kobali Prime, the home of, surprise, surprise, the Kobali. Last week we found out that there might have been a good reason for that attack, because the Kobali have a temple full of Vaadwaur and stasis chambers, and some of those chambers have malfunctioned and left dead Vaadwaur in them after heaven knows how long. Yeah, we'll get to that. I hate when they keep breaking it like that. In any event, the problem with the dead bodies is the fact that the Kobali use dead bodies to reproduce. It's probably not the best idea to look into that too closely. I'm pretty sure there's not the traditional way that most humanoids do. Let's put it that way. We'll keep it moderately clean for any of the youngins who come along. In any event, that gives the Vaadwaur at least a stain of justification, except they decided that the best way to resolve this is the complete genocide of the Kobali species. Well, that kind of automatically puts them on the bad guy's side. Nom 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 nom. I don't think it quite goes quite like that. So, we are in the midst of the final, either final 1 or 2 episodes in the Kobali Crisis. We're going to attempt to go into Vaadwaur territory and basically stop their dastardly plans. I am playing a Romulan Republic aligned alien. Yes, not a Romulan, because I randomly determined everything about the character, except the name, because, I just do whatever with the names. But it turned out to be an alien as opposed to a Reman or a Romulan. Who knew? And she is also an engineering character, which is helpful. It's gotten me through some of the really nasty surprises during the last week's episode when my bridge officers decided to stay behind while I did all the heavy lifting. Aliens are the best aliens. Too true. It certainly gives a lot more creativity to work with. Although I fear that I basically stuck with hitting the random button and taking what came out of that. Maybe I might have done some minor adjustments. It's been a while. I think this is like week 34, 35. And as we will be able to see if we take a peek at the episode list, there is quite a number of episodes to go. So I expect that the Adventures of Tel-El will continue well to summertime, probably. Although I could be wrong. We'll find out. Before we kick off, Administrivia. I have some reputation that I've been working on. Some I'm going to collect the rewards for, and since I still have a couple Romulan marks going, I will select a new project. I am not quite halfway to filling the tier 5 for new Romulus reputation. We'll see if I get any more Romulan marks somewhere along the line. Could happen. Also, thanks to my work here in the Delta Quadrant, I've been getting work on the Delta Alliance reputation. We'll collect the reward for that. That gets me halfway to Tier 2. So obviously, by next week, we will have Tier 2 complete and we'll have more traits to play with. And there'll be more stuff available in the store as well. Just as a FYI, the big thing about the store for the Delta Alliance is Thoron-infused Polaron weapons. Well, you gotta give the devs this. They do stay true to the technobabble. Thoron-infused. Sheesh. I guess they needed something to sound fancy. I'm also going to take a quick glance at skills, but because I can't remember, yes, I do have a specialization point that I got somewhere along the line that I never spent. Look at all those things. Yeah, I feel that way sometimes with some of the things in this game. And actually, you know what? I don't think I've really gone into too much detail as to some of the nuts and bolts of some of the game mechanics. I've spent a lot of time here going into the details about the storyline and the occasional gripes I have with the way the devs have stumbled hard on, shall we say, future-proofing these episodes. I'm not going to rant on that now. I'll save those rants for when they happen again, and they will. I need to do some new inducted Polaron infuser coils. You're a born engineer, Feely. That's all I gotta say here. I can't come up with that kind of thing on the top of my head to save my life. I can remove debuffs, or I can remove... Okay, so it's remove debuffs. It's a question of whether it'll happen in space or on the ground. Well, you know what? I'm gonna grab the space one, because it's space. With the eye to the fact of going on with that old meme, why not both? So I will grab the revitalize one next time. The trans radical disruption field is too strong. Are you using a web generator? You can't tell me that you're coming up with these on your own. I refuse to believe it. I'd put my fingers in my ears, but I've got the headphones in the way, so that kind of makes it difficult. Of course, putting the fingers in the ears don't really help when I'm reading text. You know, that made more sense when I was starting out. In any event, I was going to say something about weaponry. Mostly energy weaponry. Most of the energy weapons you have will have a secondary effect associated with the type of weapon. Plasma, for example, it will usually throw a plasma damage that ignores the shield sometimes. It's basically like a... Keep distracted, don't stop, slow down. Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to converse. Plasma will do damage over time, and I think that's all for these guys. What am I using right now? I'm using a, ironically, Polaron weapon right now for my rifle weapon, and what that'll do is, okay, I think is that the thing that does supposed to use? I need to actually see the weapon. It's a little easier to go that way. Trying to read it on that is not going to help me. Okay, Polaron damage. Okay, it gives a chance to potentially heal myself, which is okay. My other energy weapon, it's a Thoron infused. But that's Polaron too. Maybe it's the crit chance. No, because they both have crit. You know what? I want to save that explanation for a time when I have some baseline equipment to pull out. Yeah, everything I'm using right now is Polaron at the moment, at least as far as the ground. It just kind of shook out that way because they were the best quality stuff I've got to work with at the moment. Another little detail of the hand weapons is you'll notice that they have an additional trait that says they are... I can't move the mouse to show them either, that's really annoying. Down there where it says wide beam setting, you'll see that it says expose attack. And then I have another one down here which says exploit attack. And these work together, in a manner of speaking. When you hit someone with an expose attack, they get this nice orange, glowy orange kind of circle target-like thing that indicates that, ooh, they've been exposed. And when you hit them, you do more damage. But if they are exposed and you hit them with an exploit attack, like, this one down here, it does a lot more damage. And even more entertaining, if it does enough damage to take them down, it doesn't just take them down, it vaporizes them. So if you're an RPer and don't want to be considered a bloodthirsty maniac, it's probably best not to use exploit weapons if you want to at least make yourself believe that you're only stunning them. Just saying. I never knew that. Yeah. There's a lot in this game that doesn't get explained very well, I think. Now, admittedly, I haven't done the tutorial recently. Someday, in the distant future, when I finally wrap up this character, the odds are good that I'm going to roll a Klingon character for the stream. Because they've revamped the entire tutorial for the Klingons, apparently, during this Year of the Klingon that they're doing. And in that particular case, sort of want to see what they've done. But that is still a ways away, and now we're going to go and continue the story. Okay, I must have picked this one up already. I feel like that I should be talking to somebody. I've got breaking the wall. Oh, okay. I guess the thing came up automatically. What's this? Purchase ground supplies? My inventory's not that full. We're not going to sell anything off right now. Now... I really thought you know what? We're not going to question. I thought I'd lose track of what I've done sometimes, and it seems that this is one of those times. There's a lot of open missions that are involved with this particular phase of the Kobali arc. But I would swear I've done this set of missions. Well, that's okay, because this time, unlike the last time, I actually have my crew here. Oops. Okay, marked position, marked position. Which is probably in the exact wrong spot. I have no idea where the marked position is. Oh, there goes no. You know, I was doing better when I had the, Oh. Okay, that did not start well, did it? The good news, though... Okay. This is kind of good news, bad news. The bad news is I did not spawn where I would expect to spawn. But the good news is I think I spawned where I needed to spawn. Because, yes, I can see it up there. That's where I have to go, which was on the exact opposite side of where I was starting. Now I know I've done this mission. I'm not entirely sure why it didn't credit me. I probably forgot to do something last week. It would not be the first time. And it looks like I've got another player here who was also attempting to do all this stuff. That's not surprising, because these last missions, they give, as a potential reward, some ancient component that you can use for the Delta Quadrant reputation items. So it's not entirely surprising. Unfortunately, this thing is on an obscenely slow timer, which is really annoying. Oh, such is life. Now, one strategy that I'd seen used occasionally is people would move their bridge officers right to where they spawn in. So they would spawn in, the bridge officers would shoot them, and they'd never even get this far. However, I'm pretty sure that my people aren't exactly well equipped for that sort of thing. My bridge officers who joined me on this particular mission, incidentally, are my medical officer, No, which never ceases to amuse me, just to say. And then I've got Harara Talon, who came to me by way of the Dominion 2800 mission arc, where he so graciously volunteered to join my crew. Although if I were to take a peek at the backstage, I'm sure it would say something along the lines of, "I am joining your crew now. This is not something you need to agree with. It is going to happen. This I do gladly because I am Jem'Hadar." I might be paraphrasing. On the other hand, he does make a great replacement for Tovin Kev, the ubiquitous Romulan tactical officer. And we are almost done. All right, push forward, weaken the defenses. Hold the line. The line looks like it's got a fair amount of people there. Let's drop an orbital bomb on it, shall we? I love orbital strike. I love it even more when it makes sense. Being able to use that indoors just seems wrong. And we've taken out 90% of the attackers. Oh, and here comes our last contestants. Next step, communication towers. Yes, I definitely did this last week. I had to have missed something. Oops. I aggroed some people I wasn't ready to aggro. Sometimes I might be just a little bit overzealous with the weapons. You'll notice that I'm not actually doing any of the deactivation. I figure these other players are doing the job for me, so I'll just sit back and blow things up. We're moving along too quickly for me to bother putting down any of my fabrications, which are the kit modules I use for this character. And now the towers are down. Now it's the final choke point. Here we are. Okay, I am going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to throw down the turret. Oh, nice. And the mortars. Oh, yeah. This is going to work out real well. And now we're going to move back here to the choke point. Sit back and watch the show. I've got all these turrets out there, right near where the bad guys will spawn in. And the moment they spawn in, we unleash hell. Although they do seem to be a little slow on the firing. I am disappointed. But really, this isn't a fair fight. Okay, I just got rewards for an open mission somewhere that I have no clue about. Hey, they want to give me marks and dilithium and all that? Hey, go for it, guys. I don't mind. Someone else has a, looks like an Alati turret or some kind out there. I see something spitting out gas, acid. Your guess is as good as mine, except, oh, there we are. Phaser flamethrower. Is that really a thing? Phaser flamethrower? Okay, now the devs really aren't even trying. Phaser flamethrower. Sheesh. Phaser flame, sure. Let's just say that developers occasionally do things regularly that I disagree with, that I think are incredibly dumb. And that's all I've got to say about that. The good news is the Vodwar are near the end of their road. We are creeping up on that 100% number here, and there's no coincidence, I suspect, that they call this smooth sailing. Okay, we are going to grab the Delta marks with the bonus cell there, and then we will go forward out here and hopefully conclude this part of the mission. Breaking the wall complete. Oh yes, I know breaking the wall is complete, except you're telling me to speak to someone, so it can't be complete yet, can it? Excellent work! Victory is close. All we need to do is destroy the stored chemicals and take their final command post. We're about to win a major battle in this war, Admiral. Are you ready? There. Now we're where I think we ought to be. When you channel your phaser beams through a diffuse enough deconcentration matrix. Ah! Technobabble! A plasmified ionized air and create a wavefront of fire-like energy pulse. Oh, my brain is breaking. This is it, Admiral. The final push. The Vodwar chemicals are up ahead. The base is heavily fortified. It'll be up to you and whatever forces you can muster to go after the Vodwar. Our forces will stay behind and hold off any Vodwar attacks from their base behind us. Rewards? Again, XP, expertise, and, my favorite, a career-specific Mark 13 kit reward, which will hopefully be better than some of the stuff I've gotten so far. Let's hope, right? So here we are. Potentially the final act. Well, I guess technically we've been in the final act, but this is the final chapter for the final act. Now first we need to disable transporters. Ah, here we are. Oh, it looks like transporters, so we're on spatial charges now. Let me think. I think that's this way? I want to say it's this way. It's been a long time since I've done this mission, so... Yes, it is this way. Let's set us up the bomb. Oops, there's another one right here. Far be it for me to ignore that. 3? Are there any on this side? Nope. Trigger spatial charges. Ooh, pretty explosions. But now comes the fun part.
Until our people are returned and the Kobali pay for their actions.
You're probably wondering, hey, who said that? the leader of the Vaadwaur army, and, well, take a look at this. He comes in his own private walker tank. It's time to start, well, let's use some of my, disposable items and see if it'll help. Oops. Let's drop the bomb on him. Plasma turrets. Medical fabrication. And by the time I'm set up, he's dead.
I am sorry.
Yeah. Take it from someone who... Tell it to someone who cares. Grab another power cell. Signal victory to the Kobali troops. And now, a final cutscene. The immunization is complete. The Kobali will no longer be harmed by Vaadwaur chemical attacks.
But the Vaadwaur will return at any moment. I suggest we pull back to the city.
Agreed. We need to deal with the Kobali using the Vaadwaur for rebirth.
I need to say again
Captain
how
Kim,
happy I
that is
am
not
that
our concern. The Prime Directive is clear on this.
The Vaadwaur were trying to exterminate the Kobali, but the Kobali are trying to eliminate the Vaadwaur by absorbing their culture. I understand the problem, but we're already
Didn't need any words for that
we're
one.
already involved, and the results of the Kobali's actions are no different than the Vaadwaur's.
You have a point, Captain Kim, but I believe this would be better discussed in a more secure location.
Agreed. We'll give you an escort.
Harry does have some history with the Kobali. That is the former Ensign Kim. Yes, he finally made captain, and it only took him 30-some years. Being on Voyager apparently is a career killer. Well, unless you're named Janeway, at which point they want to get you out of the command of a ship and into the Admiralty. Just saying. So, General Cannell.
We can't thank you enough for all your help. The war will continue, but now we have the upper hand. We're trained, and we're prepared to finish the fight. We have only one more topic to discuss.
Oh, right. I forgot about that detail.
The stasis pods we currently hold.
Yes, what will we do
Thank
with
you
them?
for all your help. I believe it is time we discuss what to do with the remaining Vaadwaur stasis pods. Our lead scientist wishes to speak with you within the temple about the problem. I believe Captain Kim wishes to be present as well. I suggest talking to him first.
And we have a number of rewards coming from here, including a nice hunk of Delta Marks, another ancient power cell, the title of Secret Keeper, and personal shields. Incidentally, the kit item I got, I don't want. I was hoping it was going to be something. I was hoping for a fabrication that would be level 13, but no, that would have been too easy. You know, I'm not 100% certain I hit the accept button there because nothing is happening here.
We can't stop.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
is
for all
slow.
your help. I
Accept.
can't stop.
There we go. I got so caught up in the lack of a good kit item that I completely forgot to actually accept this new mission.
The Kobali have invited us to their temple to discuss the status of the Vaadwaur stasis pods. Are you ready to go?
Why, yes. And no one Varara Talon came with me to begin with. They get to see things to the end. Now we deal with painfully slow loading screen. Game's only been out for 10 years. You'd think that they'd be able to load this kind of thing up faster. But that would be too... Oh, I can't say too easy, because obviously if it were easy, they'd have done it. And here we are. And this time, we're not being shot at by Vaadwaur for a change. And yes, everyone is happy to see me because, you know, hero of the Kobali. Yeah, right. I get all these accolades from people. I mean, I have to deal with this on New Romulus too. Do I have to deal with it here too? You know, there was other captains that were involved. I was right there with them. You know, you saw them. And here we are. Let's have a chat with the Kobali scientists and discuss what to do with the remaining Vodwar pods. Name sounds familiar. Oh right, I think this might have used to have been. Well, let's see if they say anything about it
Thank you
here.
for meeting us here. We have spoken with delegates from the Alliance and have come to an agreement about the Vodwar. We will cease reviving Vodwar from stasis pods that are failing and ensure the upkeep on said pods.
You know, that is not where I expected this to go. I was sure you were going to say something. Well, I figured you were going to go party line here on me, but remarkably intelligent. Now, I think that this particular Kobali used to be Starfleet. I just can't prove it because I can't remember for sure. It's been a long time. I think it's for the best.
Yes, I have come to see that now. We will release the remaining Vodwar from their pods once their current forces have shown us that we can come to a peaceful solution. In the meantime, we shall continue to use this area as a holding area for non-Vodwar who will become Kobali.
So you're still going to use this as a storage facility then?
Yes, I know it may seem grim to you, but for us, it is sacred. This shall be a place where those who have lost their lives await to have a new life given to them. In time, we will fill this hall again with those who can earn another chance at life.
Now, I know this would be that's a great place to stop, but I just can't keep myself from digging. So where are you going to get new bodies?
We are sending scouting ships to several planets that the Vodwar have attacked. With the permission of their people, we will take the victims of the Vodwar and give them a second chance at life. Our hope is for this to lead to new alliances with the other species of the Delta Quadrant.
Well, that sounds reasonably fair.
Make
it so.
I think we've done everything we can here.
I think so too, Captain. But is that really all?
Thank you again for everything you've done here. I'm relieved that we've cleared this up and can move forward with the Kobali. Let's head back to the city.
Dun 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 dun.
Don't worry, Harry. I'll take good care of you.
Dun dun dun. So now you have to ask yourself, wait a second. We just talked to Captain Kim, but that was Captain Kim, except he didn't look like Captain Kim. There is an explanation, but we're not going to see it for some time. Oh, cliffhangers. So, one last conversation with the General, and we can put Kobali Prime in the rear view mirror. Yeah, see that symbol on this character over here? That's what happens when someone is in an exposed state. Now, technically speaking, that particular character was faking being an exposed state. There's a decoy tactical ability. So, let's collect the rewards.
We can't stop until the Vodwar leave our world.
Wrap up the Rapper mission, which is
We
piddling
can't
because
stop
it's a rapper.
until the Vodwar leave our world.
And if someone wanted to farm those ancient power cells, or for that matter, Delta marks, they could always return here, do the missions again. It would all be available. But for us, it's all about going forward. So we will at last return to the Piri. Piri. I've got to stop hitting the random button on the ship name things. I'll do better next time, I promise. We're ready to leave the system and continue at last on the primary story arc. But I wanted to make sure we did all the stuff on Kobali Prime, because that way certain events that will occur later in this arc will make more sense. So, now that we have done all the Kobali front related missions, it's time to do Capture the Flag.
The Alliance needs your help. A group of Alliance ships are currently under attack by the Vadwar in the Orletus system. The Lisette is making its way there to render assistance. I want you to back them up. We don't know what the Vadwar have there, and I want to give us the best possible chance of victory.
So, rewards for this mission. A nice, fat, heaping chunk of experience points. I think there's still a double XP thing going on. I think that might be why that looks so large. A large chunk of expertise, adequate chunk of dilithium ore, and hey, another career-specific, very rare kit reward. Maybe this one will be better than the rotten one I got during the last of the Kobali missions. Before we move onward, however, I do have this Mark 13 shield, and I don't really have to worry about psionics anymore, so I'm going to swap out the psionic shield I've been using for a brand spanking new Kobali shield. Anything that helps me regenerate health is always a plus. The phaser damage reduction is meh. I will accept the mission. Let's see where it is on the map. Yes, it's clear on the other side, so we're going to transwarp over there so that nobody has to worry about slow travel and me battling to fill the time. We will get right to the action. So, let's begin.
Glad to have you by our side. This is one of the systems marked for further examination during your work with Subcommander Seyhen. I'm not sure what the Vadwar are up to here, but they're fighting like demons. They're attacking a small group of Alliance vessels. More hostile ships are on the way. I propose we divide and conquer. The Lisette will fly ahead and catch any incoming ships, while you free our trapped allies. Your thoughts?
Hey, sounds like a good plan to me. Incidentally, I am not flying an actual Romulan vessel right now. I am flying a Bajoran Interceptor. I've had that for quite some time in my list of ships. That is a Scimitar-class vessel, yes. It is not the Scimitar, but it is the current flagship of the Romulan Republic. I do have Scimitar-class vessels available to me from purchases made quite some time ago. But I did not want this character to be flying that. I have other plans. This Bajoran Interceptor, this is basically a stepping stone to what my planned ship is going to be. And I'm holding off on that one because, well, the reasons will become apparent as we go along somewhere along the line. Suffice it to say, however, that my original plan has altered somewhat. Thanks to the anniversary news about the ships that they're going to be releasing, I have a sneaking feeling that that might be the ship I'll want to go with. More on that when time comes. In the meantime, we have to deal with these nasty Vadwar, and I'm making use of, well, everything I can, honestly. The good news is I have a ship that is highly maneuverable. The bad news is it's also a lot more fragile. And unfortunately, Vodwar ships can be pretty tough customers. You'll notice every once in a while they toss off those big blue things. Those things are nasty in the worst possible way. They will wreck your shields, they will wreck your hull, they will wreck you entirely. So, trying very hard to avoid being hit by them. The good news, though, is that fast and maneuverable does get out of these torpedo spread pretty easily. That's the good news. Oh, he's ignoring me now. I think I'm really... Yeah, there we go. See, there's those torpedo spreads that I can kick off. But you know, he's ignoring me. I think I'm kind of insulted. Now, one of the things I've been trying on this ship that I don't do on almost any of the other ships I fly for other characters is I've been using vines. One of my bridge officers had the ability to have these mine dispersal patterns, and I just couldn't help but want to try them out. Their utility is dubious, but they're different, and I enjoy doing different. Oh, will this guy hurry up and blow up? I'm getting very tired. There we go. We'll repair the wounded vessel.
Now the Vodwar will know the fury of the core.
I thought that style of ship looked familiar. Let's go for the next group. With any luck, the Fury of the Gorn will include giving me sufficient backup to load these guys up faster. Ah, and that is very obviously a Starfleet vessel. Oh, assault vessel is going down. One down, a couple to go. Now the nice thing about my weaponry is that one of my ships earlier had access to a quad plasma cannon. Now cannons are of dubious use if you're flying a slow, clumsy cruiser kind of ship, but they are simply awesome if you're flying a fast and maneuverable one like, say, this one. Oh, he went down a lot faster than I thought he would.
Thanks for the help.
And now we have two ships to back me up. Which brings us to number 3. And it's a heavy artillery vessel, which means it is going to cause problems. And mask, there we go. Some of these ships will do a mask sensor signature, which is not quite a cloaking device, but it's close enough for government work. The good news, though, is if you use a science team bridge ability, you can fix your sensors. And the rest is history. Much like, hopefully, this ship will be soon. Yeah, gone. Bridge officer ability, return. And it's a good thing I have these other ships helping me out, because it would take a long time to put him down. I'd have to do one. Now, I've mentioned this in previous streams, but the Vodwar ships are things I'd really prefer not to be fighting alone, especially if they're in force. They've got too many starship wrecking abilities, especially those torpedo spreads of theirs, to really appreciate them. So it's always good when you have some extra backup in the form of NPC starships. We'll repair the Talon Hero.
Engines back online. We're ready to fight.
A large Vodwar fleet just arrived. This is our chance to strike before they retreat.
Remember what I was saying about hating going up against large amounts of Vodwar ships without backup? Those qualify as large Vodwar ships. However, some of my reinforcements don't seem to want to come along. Hey, battleship back there! Over here! Man, that thing's turned so painfully slowly. The one thing I really don't want to do is get too far ahead of those guys. If I were in a standard Romulan ship, I would have a cloaking device to work with here. And then I could basically move up to them and not have to worry about being blown to tiny bits right off the bat. I mean, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have a whole bunch of vessels here. Oh, the Lisette. I forgot all about the Lisette. Okay, that's a backup I can appreciate. Let's try not to blow holes in the big Romulan flagship. The Republic would probably take it very badly. They would be most upset about well, how do they get the resources to build those things? Oh, don't you dare tell me you guys blew off. No, they're disabled, but they're still intact. Unfortunately, that probably means we're going to have to get them out of trouble. Fall down. Good. Heavy artillery vessel. Get those shields back in working order. There we are. Last crack of where he was going in there. He might have cloaked himself in time, or masked his sensor signature. We're getting a distress signal from the Lisette. Well, that means they're not all dead yet. Oh, the backup did better than I thought. All the bad guys are down. So let's see what's going on here.
Greetings. I am Lieutenant Gaius Salan, Chief Intelligence Officer for the Lisette. I regret to inform you that the Vaudois now control the ship. The bridge is lost, and we are locked out of most internal sensors. However, I managed to access a secure comm channel before the security codes were changed, and have located a safe location for transport. I have sent the coordinates to your ship. Without your assistance, the Lisette and her crew will be lost.
Now, I'm going to say in advance, I love Gaius Salan. And you will understand why very shortly. I believe we met him once before, in fact, in a previous mission. We have a lock on his location, so we can transport me and a small team when we're ready. Well, conveniently, I always have a small team. And in addition to Noah and Varara Talon, I will be taking my engineer, Shayla, and my science officer, Varsal. Yeah, Lauer is a Starfleet representative, and he is an alien species himself. So again, I slapped on the old random button and took what I got. I kept meaning to make Lauer my first officer, but then the Jemadar came along. Well, so much for that. So, Lieutenant Salan.
The ship is swarming with Vaudois soldiers. Our security forces are attempting to engage them, but as of yet, we have not made significant gains. I am unable to contact other members of the senior staff, but I believe they are still alive. Very coincidental, really. Our current situation is remarkably similar to my invasion scenario 4591. When you are ready, we can go over our plan of attack.
Now, I just want you to think that through. The man is talking about a scenario 4591. He's envisioned over 4,500 scenarios where his ship is going to be invaded. Now that is crazy prepared.
Scenarios, plural. I have gone through several hundred holodeck simulations of various factions attempting to board the Lisette. As the designated intelligence officer, it is important I know what to do in every scenario. The Vaudois simulation is incomplete, but they are acting in accordance to several other scenarios. If you are wondering, I do have a scenario that deals with your crew boarding us. I would enjoy talking to you sometime about how to improve your vulnerabilities.
I literally don't know what to say to that. And yes, you are not seeing things wrong. He is actually a former Borg. Well, let me rephrase that. He is currently a liberated Borg. Better. Now, why are we in your commander's quarters, of all places?
The Vaudois are jamming transporters and communications. My holodeck simulations determined the commander's quarters is one of the places where interference would be the weakest, allowing me to bring in outside help. The other areas, if you are curious, are the secondary control room, storage room 10 beneath engineering, and, well, I shall leave the final one a surprise.
I am willing to bet that the final one has to do with waste disposal. It's just a gut feeling. Okay, what's your plan?
We need to retake several key areas of the ship. The security team here will capture the bridge. Meanwhile, your team should storm the med bay, which we are very close to. Dr. Kratark should be there. After that, we must retake the armory to prevent the Vaudois from resupplying. In the majority of my scenarios, Lieutenant Terrell is there making a stand against the invaders.
And after we do that?
From there, we need to see whether the Vaudois perform like scenario 4591 or scenario 3291. Though perhaps they may surprise us and be more like 6895. My apologies. We do not have time for my idle speculation. Any questions?
Just one. While we're doing all this, what are you doing?
I will remain here until we have recovered the majority of this deck. If your crew should be killed in action, I will need to remain free and contact another ship for aid.
Hey, I told you I love this guy.
It's not my place to get my hands dirty in this, especially not after the incident in scenario 2792.
I would love to find out about what happened in 2792, but I suspect he's not going to tell us. I love this guy. I really do. Okay, our goal is Medbay. If it looks like a Vaudois, shoot it. And your crew member. Let's see, he's still moving, so he's probably not dead. Head to the medbay? Well, yes, but no. Going to the medbay right now, they might be a little occupied. Well, someone's left a trail of bodies. Well, this one's a literal body. And this one's a deader too, it looks like.
You must stop this meaningless massacre. Consider the balance.
Now that sounds like a Teferi. Let's help him out by dropping a bomb on him.
I'm tired of listening to
Yes, we are doing an orbital strike inside of the starship.
You have my thanks. Such reckless slaughter. Thank you for the rescue. The Vodwa have no respect for anything other than their own selfish goals. I'm sorry, but I cannot help you any further. I am just a civilian scientist, not a trained killer, a trained soldier like you.
Good save.
I'll wait here until everything has settled down, unless you believe there is something I can do.
Yeah, if anyone here's alive, get them to the med bay after we secure it.
Yes, that is more than acceptable. I will not fight, but I can help restore the balance by helping others. I will attempt to stabilize anyone who needs help here, and then await word from you or the doctor that the med bay is safe.
Sounds like a plan. I can't interact with any of these bodies, can I? No. Okay, I didn't think I would be able to, but I want to say there's an accolade if I help everybody I can help. But I can't prove that because it has been forever. I'm not a dirty, violent murderer like you. Well, the sad thing is it's not completely wrong based on, just the nature of the way MMOs work here. Ultimately, it comes down to shooting everybody who shoots at you. Luckily, I'm a member of the Romulan Republic, and not a member of Starfleet. I'm just aligned a bit with Starfleet. I've made a complete, all the way back to where I started. Clearly, there must have been another exit in there that I did not see. Let's go back in here. Yes, over here. There we go. Ooh, first things first. Help person? Scan gas. Because I can never pass up shinies. Shinies. It's been so long since I've had to deal with those. We come in peace. Shoot to kill. That is one of the gripes people have had about Star Trek Online from the earliest days, because the whole Klingon War. It's an ongoing issue. Now, luckily, thanks to where we are in the story right now, the war with the Klingons against Starfleet is maybe not over, but let's just say they're on a temporary truce. They're not killing each other at random anymore, mainly because we have potential bigger fish to fry.
Do your worst. You're amateurs compared to the tall Shi'ar.
Oops. I was hoping my people wouldn't be opening fire right away.
Thank you. Let's get to work.
I love orbital strike. Hello, Doctor.
Glad to see you, but if you came here instead of the bridge, it means you're following a plan made by Gaius and his scenarios. The equipment here is still operational. I'll begin treating the wounded. There's a console nearby you can use to contact the security team heading to the bridge.
This is a woman who sounds like she's been on the receiving end of conversations with Gaius in the past. But just for giggles, how do you know about the security team?
I've watched enough of Gaius and his scenarios to know that he would never count on a single team success. He'd send someone else to the bridge. And I also know he's made a few modifications to almost every console on the ship, including that one. Nothing happens in my med bay without my knowledge.
As on this ship, that is probably very wise. Okay, so console.
Good timing. We're about to storm the bridge. We'll keep the channel open during the assault. I'll contact you again after we have control.
Sounds good, doesn't it? I'm sure that absolutely nothing will go wrong.
What makes you think you will succeed where others have failed?
That's not good.
You should have taken Gaul's offer.
Okay.
I imagine we both overheard the same thing. Very curious. I've run simulations where the security team failed, but none like this. We should continue with the plan. We have this area secure, and you are the only mobile unit still available. If you can recover Zhu and her team in the armory, we will have another opportunity to retake the ship.
Okay, armory. Incidentally, I'm a little miffed that your scenarios didn't include some really buff Vodwar beating the tar out of your security teams all by himself. Just saying. Oh, is that Vodwar running that way? No, just Vodwar over here. Okay, crew member. Rise. Is there anybody over here? No, okay, good. Oh, that was a lot more we took down. Oops. I'm not really interested in doing medical work on him. And looks like we have a firefight in the armory, which makes a certain amount of sense. You definitely want to secure the place where all the guns are.
Thanks for the help, I guess. We should talk strategy. Bah! Vodwar. I'll take down every last one of them, I swear it. Nobody makes me look like a fool. I guess I'll let you deal with a few. I can't be in two places at once. We have problems in the brig and in engineering.
Okay, be more specific.
Cyanel and his team are pinned down in engineering, and Commander Jirok and Sub-Commander Merrill are in the brig. I'm going to head engineering. If the Vodwar get control of the Singularity, we're done. Think you could secure the brig?
We can do that. I think it would be good to have your boss back in charge. Although I am surprised they put her in the brig and didn't, you know, flat out kill her. I mean, well, I suppose that he has security codes and stuff that would be useful, but... Oops, no! Noah's gone down! I never get tired of doing that. I'm very easily amused. There's the Vodwar. Get thee to the med bay. And lift to the brig. You know, this is a very badly designed starship. I mean, couldn't we just taken the first turbolift to this area? There we go. Flagship down. I believe that is the accolade for, well, helping all the people who need help. Now, just as an interesting side note here, oops. You may have noticed that we have some endeavors that are rolling here. Most of them aren't really applicable, but I do seem to have repaired shields in space as a Tier 2 endeavor. Which means if I can manage to repair more shields in space, which are not going to happen in this mission, I don't think. Ooh, not good. Health going down. Time for backup help. Oh yes, 2 medical generators. I can stand right in the Venn diagram here.
Disable the security grid, and we can get out of here.
Right you are. Security grid, security grid, security grid. Thank you. Well, that was nice. I mean, you pointed right to it. That is a remarkable bit of
What's the situation?
good work on the part of the developers to have someone do that. Well, Commander?
You're a welcome sight. I was on the bridge. We were attacked by just one Vadwar, but he was different, stronger, unstoppable. He wiped out our security team, but he knocked Var and me out. Put us here for questioning. What's happening? Do we have control of the bridge?
Well, not so much. We got medbay, the armory, hopefully engineering soon. Bridge is still a problem.
Is Zinal there? If he and Ju can hold engineering while we take the bridge, we can take control of the ship and then clean up the Vadwar from there. I'll still need some time to recover. You and Subcommander Merrill should head to the bridge. I'll stay here and monitor the situation. Be on your guard. The Vadwar that took that bridge shrugged off our attacks like they were nothing. He won't go down easily.
Well, you know, if I were a Starfleeter, I'd ask if it was wise for her to remain here alone, but hey, she's the commander of the Romulan flagship. She knows what she's doing. A super Vadwar, yes. That does appear to be what we're going to have to deal with, and that is something that could very much be a big problem.
Commander Jirok requires our assistance.
Oh, good. Well, that takes care of any lingering need about her being alone. Go to it, Gaius. We'll deal with your little problem on the bridge. Alright, watch for baddies. Yes, Sub-Commander, hopefully we can get this wrapped up without getting ourselves completely...
He's... gone. Strange.
Oh, he's not on the ceiling. Don't laugh. I saw Undine do that. Okay, let's turn off the weapon systems.
Excellent work. We have control of the ship's life support, navigation, and weapon systems again. According to the logs, the Vadwar leader was attempting to open fire on your ship. Doesn't look like he could get past Lieutenant Salon's security algorithm. I'll handle things up here, but could you use that console to contact Lieutenant Terrell? Tell her to scramble her security teams and find that Vadwar.
That sounds like a great idea. He may be a super Vadwar, but if we can isolate him and say, I don't know, transport him into space, I bet he'll have trouble breathing vacuum. Oh, that ain't good.
If you want to live, you'll give me what I want.
I've survived worse than you.
You have no
Now that is a
idea
badass
who
engineer.
you're dealing with.
Was this all a trick to lure us away from engineering? What are they trying to... No, he couldn't. I fear the worst. If the Vadwar is in engineering, he could turn off the shielding protecting the Singularity Core. Without containment, the Singularity will implode.
Yeah, that's a big problem. You stay here. We'll deal with Super Vadwar. If you can tell when an alien is some kind of badass, they have neck ridges. Well, I don't know. I've met a whole bunch of Cardassians with neck ridges, and they don't impress me all that much. Do I have neck ridges? No, I just have the spines. Guys, is that you guys? We have a problem.
Narwhal and I have a plan.
Oh, you have a plan. Is that anything like a strategy? Because...
Very predictable. If the Vaudois can't use the Lisette to attack other ships, they will make a statement by destroying us with our own singularity. I've analyzed the data from other teams fighting the Vaudois. It's pointless for you to try to fight him. Your weapons are inadequate for the task.
I feel insulted.
Narwhal has come up with an interesting theory that may work.
They were badass. Yeah, admittedly, some guard... much like any other species, you have your good examples and your less good examples. Nero, what's the theory?
The vents in the Singularity Core carry a modified version of plasma. I'm not cleared to give you all the details, but the Lisette is testing several advances that have not been provided to other ships in the fleet at this time. Narwhal believes direct exposure to this modified plasma may create a vulnerability in the Vaudois. I believe this plan has a low chance of success, but it is the best option we have. If you can lure the Vaudois beneath the vents, Narwhal and I will overload them, causing the plasma to cover the Vaudois and weaken him. You'll have one more problem to deal with before that, however.
Oh good, because, you know, more problems are always welcome.
The Vaudois has erected a shield around the Singularity Core. Very smart, I must say. No one will be able to affect him when he is inside. You must trick him into dropping that shield. I suggest playing towards the Vaudois' pride. That is usually the surest way to convince someone to make a suboptimal move. Once that is done, lure the Vaudois beneath one of the vents. We'll activate the plasma, and then you can properly knock out our friend. Are you ready?
If we drop the shields, why don't we just beam them out into space and solve our problems that way?
That was the first thing I tried when I arrived. There is something preventing us from locking transporters onto any of the Vaudois. Not uncommon, really. Many members of our own fleet also carry devices that prevent them from being randomly transported. If I find a way around the transporter block, I'll do as you ask.
Okay, but just one thing, guys. How can I get one of these devices? Because, you know, I hear that, you know, there are situations where people have been beamed somewhere against their will, and I'd really like to have that kind of backup. I mean, I am a superior officer in your fleet, you realize. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Fine, I'll do it. Off to engineering. Oh, got here a little sooner than I expected. Ah, those would be the plasma areas. You know, that looked like it would have had to hurt. Now, if I were a Vaudois psychopath, where would I be? Oh. Didn't see him in that bright yellow shield there. Oh, the badass is still alive. Oh, I think that's too real. That's not badass. It's sad when the security person is not nearly as badass as the engineer. That said, I don't see the engineer anywhere, so could. Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to put you on hold, Mr. Vaudois person. Something more important has come up. Must scan and harvest shinies. Yes, the Romulan ship is in danger and can blow up at any moment, but I must have my shinies. Okay, back to business. Overseer Relin.
You made it. A shame. We had hoped you would be neutralized by now. But you show an unusual resilience. Perhaps that's why Gaul made his generous offer. You're too late to stop what is happening. The Singularity Core's overload has already begun. You will all be destroyed by your greatest weapon. It's almost poetic, really.
Oh, I can understand that. I mean, it's not like you could beat me personally or anything. He doesn't need to use a singularity to take me down. Actually, it's kind of flattering, actually. You need basically a miniature black hole in order to defeat me. I'm proud of you.
My pride as a Vaadwaur. That's good. Very good. This is simply the most efficient way. I could kill you all one at a time, but I have better things to do.
Nah, I'll just beam out of here before the place implodes, then I can watch you go into the black hole all by yourself. Have a nice day.
Interesting. But will you abandon the Lisette? Or will
He
you
looks like a
stay
space
till
chicken.
the last glorious second to
Oh,
try
great.
and save it?
Now I can't unsee that.
I will admit you make a point. You've survived too many of your previous encounters for me to leave anything to chance. I will enjoy seeing the last bit of life leave your eyes.
Give it your best. Give it your best shot, you space chicken. Now the key here is to drag him into these little red circles. Ah! And not be in the middle of it myself. I'm gonna drop down the combat supplies because he is being the tar out of me. Which makes for a great argument to also put down the medical generator. And he's taken out my medical generator. Okay, let's see. Nuke. We'll have him attacked by my pet Horta. Okay, I bet he's not really a pet. Oh, that won't be too hard. He's already right here, practically. Working on it.
It's time to finish this.
Well, the good news is we seem to have hit him pretty hard. The bad news is we're going into a cutscene. Now, technically, I think from what I read... the badass is back!
I will not be stopped.
We need a better solution.
Beaming into space was my solution. How about a grenade?
I've got just the thing.
You know, he sounds entirely too pleased about that. Well, that looked like it hurt.
What was that thing?
Space
I don't
chicken.
know, but we need a better way to fight it.
I'll get to work.
Now, technically, as I understand it, the Vaadwaur were kind of designed to evoke the appearance of a cobra with the hooded look. I think that's where you get that derivation. But God help me, he did look like a space chicken. Alright, we're gonna have a chat with, well, basically the rest of the Romulan crew, since, you know, they all are integral parts of the flagship
We
here.
will not forget what you did for us. Lieutenant Ceylon will work with Nerl to learn more about this Vaadwaur. If there are more out there like him, we're going to need more than luck to fight them. We need to know more. Why was this Vaadwaur practically invincible? He wasn't like any of the others we faced helping the Kobali or the Toray.
Yeah, boy knows
I
Edridge,
hope we can help
space
find
chicken.
an answer.
Yes.
It's the least we can do.
Yeah, let us know if you find anything that he's vulnerable to besides, you know, grenades and plasma.
Haven't taken a hit like that since Obasek and I were fighting the Tal Shiar. Gonna be sore in the morning. But the singularity is stabilized. That Vaadwaur tried to lock us out of the containment system, but he wasn't as smart as he thought he was. Thanks for your help. Next time we're in a firefight, I'll do more than just lay on the ground unconscious.
sadly, this is the last time we'll ever see this guy, so we won't get to see him in all his badass glory. It's the eye patch. You know it's the eye patch. And we'll have a chat with the security officer with a timely grenade.
Thanks for the help with Vaadwaur, but we won't need it again. The next time, we'll be ready. I'm going to drill my security teams until they can deal with anything. The war between the Klingons and Starfleet ended and people got lazy. Time to get back in shape.
You know, that war didn't end all that long ago. Sheesh. How about more of those grenades?
Nice, isn't it? Honestly, there was an even chance that it would cause a massive explosion, crack the singularity core, and kill us all. I figured we'd be dead if we didn't try it, so why not give it a shot? Good thing it worked, huh?
Yeah, go. That's good. Bye. I can't fault the logic, though. Okay, Commander.
Thank you for all your help. Without you, we would have lost the Lisette. It's unfortunate we couldn't capture the Vaadwaur alive for questioning. He was unlike anything I've ever seen. What made him so powerful?
Oh, we know it probably wasn't clean living.
Neril did manage to get a few scans. He's compiling a report on what he found and your success with the plasma. We'll need to adapt. We can't count on throwing every Vaadwaur like him into a singularity core. We will handle the repairs. You should return to your ship when you're ready.
Yeah, we really don't have enough singularity cores for that.
Commander Jirok, I have some preliminary data for you. The Vaadwaur gave off a modulated carrier wave every time he was attacked by an energy weapon. In effect, he reflected the energy outward as infrared radiation. Nowell and I are not yet clear on whether this is a product of biology or technology, but he did show strange isobarmy neurotransmitter activity. Regardless, this will give us a starting point to find vulnerabilities. I'll send on more findings as we complete them, and we should be able to adapt our weapons to be more effective in the future.
So what I'm hearing is next time we run into these guys, we should use an axe. Or a really big hammer. If I were a Klingon, I'd say break out the batlets, but no luck there. Good, we can transport back. Return to the ship. Three, two, one.
Super Vaadwaur. This is the first time I'm hearing of it. You've done the Alliance quite a service today. Losing the Lisette would have been a major blow to us, and the Vaadwaur know that if they are resorting to boarding parties. We'll get the best scientists in the Alliance to analyze your combat data. With any luck, we can discover a way to hurt the Vaadwaur, the same way Picard discovered how to fight the Borg.
Yeah, well, you know, Picard found out how to fight the Borg the really, really hard way, so I don't know that we want to necessarily go through that route.
Congratulations, Admiral.
Beam turret. I've got beam turret 13. That will do a nice replacement for my beam turret 12. I also have a... Okay, let's see. I've got a couple kits here. That one's just a blue item. This one's purpley. So what does it do? Gives me better ground armor, better health regen. Considering that who we're up against, I think I want the stuff that helps my regen and stuff like that. The solution is for me to become a super Vaadwaur myself and be rescued and converted back to my own species. Interesting that you should say something like that. But that may be for the future. Let's see what is involved with the Dragon's Deceit.
We know there's something going on with the Vaadwaur in the Cartella system, but we haven't been able to get any ships close enough to determine what that is. I think you'll have better luck. The area doesn't have a lot of resources, but there's enough Vaadwaur ship traffic in the area to indicate a major base. But they're guarding it so closely that it could have something to do with their sudden jump in power. Given the aggressive nature of the Vaadwaur, Getting close enough to investigate without attracting their attention will be difficult. We've made contact with a Hazari bounty hunter in possession of equipment that should allow you to approach and infiltrate their base.
Now you'll notice that this says that this is a single-player mission. Most of the missions in the game can be done with other players. But there are missions that will only be usable by the person with the mission. And this is one of them. A very nice chunk of XP, expertise. Stealth Operational Armor. Okay. Well, at least it's got some decent stats to it. Anti-lithium ore. Larger than usual. That's probably a sign. The general location, again, relatively far away, so we're going to transwarp there and save ourselves the extended journey. Cartella Prime is a desolate world on the edge of Vodwar space. Barely registering as an M-class planet and beset by almost constant electrical storms, the planet has never been a prime target for colonization. However, its abundant deposits of dilithium and iridium were enough to attract groups of miners. Over the centuries, the planet has been populated by groups from more than a dozen species. Decades of deep mining took its toll. The veins that cross Cartella Prime were exhausted one by one, and the miners moved elsewhere. Now, only the abandoned tunnels remain. I'm sure we won't end up in those tunnels. Yeah, I couldn't keep a straight face. You can't see it, but trust me, it's not there. So we will undergo the slow load. Once we get to 30% on the load, things go quickly, but there we go. Getting that 30 is a pain. It's like watching Windows progress bars. Yeah, even if you could see it, you wouldn't be able to see it. We have arrived in the outskirts of the Cartella system. Our orders are to rendezvous with Admiral Tuvok, who will give us further instructions. So let's hop over to the USS Voyager.
Greetings. It is agreeable to work with you again. The Vodwar have greatly expanded their reach since Voyager first encountered them. Their military capabilities have developed at a rate that Starfleet Command finds troubling.
No kidding.
An additional concern is that some leaders of the Vodwar supremacy have developed unusual physical characteristics. These individuals exhibit strength and resilience far beyond the norm for their species. The crew of the Lisette has shared their data of your previous encounter with one of the enhanced Vodwar with the Alliance. We have used it to devise several modifications to our weapons that may counteract their ability to reflect a portion of energy directed at them. I have provided the specifications to your crew, and they have already made the modifications to your weapons. However, these modifications are untested. It is unclear how much effect they will have.
Wouldn't the chain of command usually be along the lines of tell me and I pass them to my crew as opposed to, doing this behind my back? I don't have any great problems with the results, granted. I just have issues with, how it's done. Just saying. So why are they different? Steroids?
Not yet, but we have found a location that may have the answers we seek. Officially, Cartella is a defunct mining colony. However, intercepted messages indicate that the lower levels of the facility are being used by Supremacy leadership for an unknown purpose. Your mission will be to covertly enter the base and gather intelligence on the Vodwar. We have made arrangements with Yadren to provide you with equipment you will need to approach the system safely.
Yadren. Name doesn't ring any bells.
The Hazari will provide a modified holo-emitter that should allow you to approach the planet. Holotechnology is unfamiliar to the Vodwar.
Are you sure? Because the last time you really interacted with the Vodwar, they also didn't have all those kick-ass weapons, so... Yeah, never mind, they're Starfleet, not Romulan. Yeah, there'd be a whole bunch of diplomacy. But, you know, we're in a whole new world now where, you know, the Federation and the Republic and the Empire are all chummy now. Of course, it has a lot to do with a horrible threat that is lurking over the horizon. Oh, speaking of horrible threats lurking over the horizon...
Blow this whole deal. Help me with these Vodwar.
Complain. You know, I'd really hoped I would have been able to take him out on that pass. But it looks like I did okay. You know, I needed those guys to hit me a bit more. I'm never going to make that 20,000 repair shields if I don't get some cooperation from the bad guys.
Thanks for the help, but don't expect a discount. I wouldn't have been in that mess if I hadn't been waiting here for you. I picked up this device called a holo emitter from a big-eared fellow named Quinn. It's programmed to replicate the appearance of a Vodwar freighter. I don't know the specifics of this technology, but it works, and I'm delivering it. That completes my contract.
So if it was working, then why were they attacking you?
It was my own fault. I should have activated it before I entered the system, but hooking it into our power supply was more complicated than Quinn said it would be. Alpha Quadrant tech has too many redundancies. Backups for your backups, and none of it matters because emergency power always fails in an emergency. Good luck.
Man, it's like he watches Star Trek. Thank you.
Voyager will remain here with Yadren. With your permission, I will beam over to your ship in order to coordinate the mission.
Sure, why not? I've been on your ship. It's only fair that you be on mine. Warp to Cartella Prime. Oof.
We have arrived at Cartella Prime. Your engineers have installed the holo emitter, and it is ready to activate at your command. We will need to infiltrate both automated and manual detection measures before we can reach transporter range of the planet.
Alright, activate the emitter.
Our first task is to bypass the automated security perimeter.
Well, it's a gruesome looking ship, but I don't hate it. This hologram won't even fool the most cursory scan. Oh, great. So we've got a bargain basement holo emitter? Ah, hell, it's one of those math things. Okay, from looks of it, each number is equal to the sum of the two previous. If I'm correct, that would make the next number 34.
Excellent. Next, we will be challenged by orbital traffic control.
Reminds me of the SDF-1 from Robotech.
The Vodwar are an aggressive species.
You know, I could see it. I could see it. A large number of Vodwar ships were detected. We are probably dead. We're just gonna fly casual, as a certain smuggler once said. Let's contact traffic control.
Unidentified vessel. Your transponder may be malfunctioning. Please transmit your ship designation and flight plan.
Vodwar are an aggressive species. Okay, so let's be aggressive. I have time for your bureaucracy. Well, let's see. Yeah, we don't have time for your bureaucratic nonsense. Obstruct me, and you'll be mining rocks for the rest of your career on the edge of nowhere.
Clear for docking, sir.
Ah, man, that felt good.
Now we must avoid detection from the Vodwar ships. The holo emitter will be essential.
Power is fluctuating. Doesn't know how long you can keep it online. That is not what I want to hear. Let's try to drop below the plane of the most of their ships, so that way. Oh hell, it's breaking. Let's fix this. Detecting power fluctuations in the holo emitter. Now, luckily, I'm an engineer, and I have engineering option here. Usually, I'd be stuck with, I'm sure it's nothing, bring the offline long enough, you know, all this stuff. But here, I can regulate the power flow personally. There we go. It's good to be an engineer. I don't know if there's any science or tactical options during this mission. It's been a while. But it's nice to see that the engineering paid off here. Beam to the surface.
The tunnels beneath the planet are protected by a subspace scattering field that our transporters cannot penetrate. I have found a safe location at the edge of this field, but once you beam down, you will need to make your way through the tunnels to the base itself.
And, true to the insanity of Star Trek, I appear to be beaming down alone. Tactical option. Screw it, let's just kill them all. I'll take suicidal moves for 1,000 Daleks. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. That still hurts. But the front is the classic act of Starfleet, and apparently Klingon and Romulan captains as well. When in doubt, don't send your best tactical people. You go down by yourself.
Just outside of the Vaadwaur security perimeter. I have accessed their internal sensors, so I will provide you with tactical assistance throughout your mission. Be wary. There is a Vaadwaur patrol just ahead in the passage that crosses yours. Nearby, you should see a console. Use it to override the blast doors and trap the patrol.
I'm amazed at his level of knowledge of the interior of this facility. Then again, he did say he had access to their internal sensors, so...
Be sure that the patrol is in the correct position before you activate the console, or this will fail. Logs at the facility indicate it is in poor repair and has suffered several mechanical mishaps. Use this to your advantage. Acts of sabotage that simulate equipment failures should not arouse suspicion.
Okay, on the bright side, I am an engineer. This is my thing. And look, I've been issued some specialized equipment. A grapple gun. Gas. They're not in my inventory, but I will be notified when and how to use them. He beamed down alone to previously get a map of the place. Well, Tuvok is a
I am detecting a
tactical guy, so...
ahead. Maintain your position until they pass. That should keep the patrol occupied.
There you go. Door closed. Haha. That'll learn them. Okay, obviously I'm going this way.
I am detecting another group of Vaadwaur ahead. Access the security camera from the console nearby.
Why, I can see them from here.
Ships will return at 2000 hours. Cargo teams will be assigned by the duty officer.
If you overload that data tower, the Vaadwaur patrol will investigate. Program the door to seal them in.
Okay. Step 1.
Alert. Conduit malfunction on level 2, section beta. Engineering teams respond immediately.
Excellent. Proceed cautiously.
Cautious is the only way I know to be. Except when I go crazy and start shooting things at random. It's never a good sign when I see new respawn
There
points.
is a large drop ahead on your right. You will need a grapple gun to cross it.
Oh, conveniently, I have a grapple gun. Now, admittedly, this is kind of cool. Whoa, don't go that way.
You will need to incapacitate all of the Vodwar ahead. Insert the anesthetine gas canister I provided you in the environmental control console.
Yeah, I figured this part out myself too long.
Alert. Environmental control malfunction on level 2, section Delta 3. Engineering and medical teams, please respond.
I probably don't want to be here by the time those medical teams get here, so...
There is a large drop ahead. You will have to rappel down.
Ooh. I can't do that yet. Must have shiny. I've said it many times. If the fate of the galaxy was riding on my shoulders and would completely fail within 10 seconds, and I saw a shiny, I would go for the shiny first. Alright. Down we go. Looks like I can't go back up again, so it's down or nothing.
Security team, report to Tunnel 2.
The grapple gun really gets a lot of use here.
You need to traverse this cavern without the Vodwar seeing you and raising the alarm. To do so, you will need to use your grapple gun, as well as take advantage of anything in the environment. First, you will need to reach the support platform. Shoot a grapple across and then zipline down.
Whee!
Sneak up behind that guard and incapacitate him.
We can incapacitate him, alright. I wonder if I'll have an option or if I just have to shoot him.
To advance further through the cave, you will need to disable the proximity sensors. That console should allow you to do so. Now, zipline to that outcropping.
You know, it's amazing they don't have zipline stuff and more missions after they created the tech to do this kind of thing, because it is a very catchy thing to be able to do.
In order to exit this cavern without detection, you will need a distraction.
Oh,
you will need to move the Vodwar guards below and ahead of you, away from the next support structure. The rocks near you are unstable. Try to trigger a collapse.
Works for me.
The way is clear for you to grapple to the next support structure.
Cavern's collapsing. Run! Man, for a minute there, I thought the mechanics of the thing were going to fail, and I was going to just drop to my death here.
Make your way across the ledges to the outcropping near the next support structure.
I hope I'm going the right way, because I'm kind of guessing here.
Grapple to the next support structure.
Okay, went the right way after all. Zip line.
Approach the guard and disable him.
Another guard, eh? Whack! Stun! Zap! I wonder if I can knock him off. I guess I can. Oops! I hope there was nobody down there.
There are more guards at the other platform. Use your tricorder to reprogram the anti-personnel turrets near them to attack the Vodwar targets.
And you don't think that that's going to look a little suspicious that their weapon systems have gone wonky. What do I know?
Attention. Malfunctioning turrets on Level 4, Section Beta 2. Security and engineering teams, report immediately to Level 4.
The walkway is offline. You will need to grapple across the gap. They are aware of your actions. You cannot delay.
Yeah, the whole thing about their weapon systems
Sensors
going
are
online.
reading something large blocking your route through the cavern. Activate the crane with the nearby controls to move it.
Oops. Maybe they didn't see me. Of course, I can't target them either, so I'm kind of suspecting they are actually supposed to be dead. Graphic glitch!
Not much further. There is another grapple ahead.
Don't mind me, I'm just leaving. I'm just a Romulan Republic admiral. Nothing to see here.
There should be a place where you can drop down just ahead of your current position.
Well, it's not quite ahead, but close enough.
Now slip quietly out of the cavern before the Vodwar see you.
Well, the problem is there's a Vodwar in the bottom who see me. Of course, they do seem like they're preoccupied, so I'm not going to bother them.
I am detecting some unusual signals coming from below this area. You must reach the bottom of the caverns. I recommend you overload a console to create a diversion, and then trap the Vodwar guarding the area in a force field.
Okay, console. I don't see anybody inside. Of course, they could be just behind a crate or something. Oh no, here we go. And you can stay where you are. Yeah, one of the issues with STO, the hand-holding. Some missions are worse than others, and this one is pretty bad at it.
Intruder alert! Commander Gallic, please respond.
I suppose I should have checked to see if that force field would block communications.
An intruder? I'll handle this.
Signs point to no. Uh-oh. Super Vodwar. Super Chicken. Okay, the telekinesis didn't help as much as I was hoping. Let's get some offensive firepower rolling. Get my defenses rolling. Burst turret fabrication. Ooh. And of course, once I get the heavy weapons out, well, good enough. Oops, that's not good. Sometimes I want to figure things out on my own, and sometimes I explain everything. Yep. Some of their missions are like that. Oh, this is not good.
Gallic?
This is really not good. And naturally, it'd be out of the shields.
Pay for killing Gallic. What?
Oh, he's not dead. Okay, that isn't good. Give me your gun.
What was that thing?
You are quite right, Fiendy. That is indeed the parasite from Next Generation, all the way back. I'm pretty sure it's Season 2, but I can't prove it. But man, that was a deep cut. I recognized it the moment I saw it, and I go, ooh, we're going to get some explanations about that from way back when. Of course, you might also be wondering, wait a second. We're in the Delta Quadrant. How'd they get all the way to the Alpha? Clearly, there's more here than meets the eye.
You saved my life. I don't know why, but I am grateful. What was that thing? It crawled out of the commander. Was it controlling him?
Could be. See, I take it this is new to you too, huh?
Never. It's some kind of parasite, isn't it? What do you know?
Well, thanks to the fact that I'm aligned with Starfleet, I can say that there are Starfleet records of creatures like this from the mid-2360s. Neural parasites that appear to retain some of the host's memories while also increasing the body's strength and resilience. When one takes over, though, the person the host was is gone forever. Now, I do want to just kind of point out just an interesting aside that the Star Trek novels had a different interpretation for these guys. And I found it really interesting that they were the arch enemies of another species that could be looked at as parasites, but are more along the lines of symbiotes. In other words, these guys were the natural enemies of the Trill, which I thought was a great idea. That's exactly it, Indy. And I thought the novels had a great interpretation on that one. But the novels only lightly were consulted with the Star Trek Online guys, and even then I think it only extended to the existence of Mackenzie Calhoun.
Do you believe other members of the Vaudouar are infected by these beasts? Could all of our leaders be contaminated?
Well, if past is prologue, yeah. Can you help us?
I know my duty. I cannot allow you to wander freely through our compound, but I can't ignore this either. A temporary truce, then. I will accompany you, and if what you say is true, I must know how many of my people have been taken.
Yeah, it's like an evil mutant Trill. Yeah.
I think it went down that passage over there.
That would have been an interesting concept. It went down that path.
It went down one of the cracks in the rock. We'll have to deactivate that force field to pursue it.
And what's behind the force? Well, see, anything that says safety force field is probably there for a reason. Off into the dark. Oh. Apparently he had a grapple and didn't tell anybody. Either that or they're lighter than air. Boy, it's a long way down. But there is a bottom, thankfully. From the Underdark of the Trill homeworld. The Dark Trill. But this is the route they went.
The creature has already left the area. I would recommend you scan the area with your tricorder. Perhaps it left a hormonal trace you can follow.
Maybe. And there it is, kind of like a green fog. Green glowing fog.
I didn't know these caves were so extensive. Only the highest leadership is allowed down here.
Oh, that's an incredibly horrible sign, because if this is where your guy ran off to, and your highest leadership is down here.
How did the Vaudouar come into contact with the parasites in the first place? It has been many years since Starfleet encountered them.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. And that was back in the Alpha Quadrant.
How many of our leaders have been infected? Surely Gallic can't be the only one.
Well, it would almost make what Gall did forgivable if he's one
Based on Starfleet's previous
almost.
encounters with the parasites, you should be extremely cautious.
Gall kind of massacred a bunch of civilian Talaxians a little while ago, and that really didn't endear him, shall we say, to anybody.
Give me an enemy I can confront face to face. This deception sickens me.
Would you settle for face to mandible?
These creatures nearly ended the Federation. Although we have had our differences with the Vaadwaur, the Federation do not wish to see any species enslaved.
I think we just found them. Are they growing them?
This area has always been off limits. I expected some kind of hive, but this is just a storage room. I see some of our stasis modules, which means there are soldiers who have not been rewoken. But the rest of this? It's just supplies. There's nothing here that will prove what you claim. Perhaps this infection was limited to just one man.
Hey, look at these things! What do these look like?
What was that thing?
Wait, did you hear something?
No, but I'm relatively sure that I won't like it.
Ah, I see you've met my little friends. They want to get to know you better.
What are you? How far has this infestation spread?
You have such a small mind. The joining will help. You will see everything we can be once we are brothers under the skin.
I'm gonna say no. Shields, but I think more importantly, medical. Speaking of medical, take a hypo so I don't die immediately. First weapons. Oh yeah, one of my duty officers is a version of the emergency medical hologram, so I have a chance of spawning him whenever I use a hypo spray. And he will start helping to heal me. Here, let's do an orbital strike. Underground.
You think you are bested me? Mere mortals. Pathetic. We will rise again, and you will know our true fight.
Big talk from a hand-sized parasite.
This ends now. I cannot allow you to spread this infestation.
That's not hand-sized. Seriously? Did I just seriously drop my gun? That is not hand-sized. Okay, saying that this situation is beyond awful, I don't think properly describes the situation. Medical. Drop the combat supply because I want every bit of buff I can get off of these things. Yeah, let's concentrate fire at the same time. What is it with you, Eldex? Okay, this just gets worse and worse. Come on, just another 10 seconds for the orbital strike to come back online. I really don't want to have to deal with that guy without my heavy-hitting abilities. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, I figured he moved too much. Oh great, and he's spawning more. Okay. The larval queen is down.
The Vodwar are alerted to your presence. You must leave the facility. But the subspace scattering field is still in effect. Find the controls and disable them.
I am right there.
Find the controls to the subspace scattering field and
Incidentally,
disable them.
that is a pretty cool looking gun. That must be available for Lobby or something like that, because I've never seen it anywhere for rewards or anything like that. But he has a very impressive looking weapon. Okay, subspace scattering thing, right? Console. Oh, I just went right by it too. Okay, Eldex. Oh, before we talk, Eldex, though. Shiny, shiny, shiny. I'm sure you don't mind me taking this hunk of materials, this titanium, off your planet, right in front of you.
Although you have helped the Vodwar people today, do not believe this makes us friends, or even allies.
So I guess that means you're not coming along.
No, I must remain with my people. Perhaps I will discover more of what's really happening here.
Okay, try to avoid being attacked by parasites in the middle of the night. Sleep tight.
Your activities on the surface have alerted the Vodwar to your presence. They are beginning to inspect the starships in orbit. I would recommend returning to the ship immediately.
Sounds good to me. Please tell me that the holo emitter is still working.
The information you discovered in the base is troubling. While Starfleet knew the neural parasites found on Earth sent a signal to deep space before they were destroyed, we never knew the destination of that signal. It very well may have been the Delta Quadrant. However, contemplating the ramifications of parasites among the Vodwar ranks must wait. The fleet protecting this planet has been alerted to our presence. It is only a matter of time before this vessel is discovered.
Well then, what are you waiting for? Let's get out. Again, we're going to try to drop below these guys before they start. Crap. We're being hailed by the Vodwar.
Unidentified vessel. Your transponder codes are invalid. Security vessels are on their way. Please hold position and prepare to be boarded.
Please hold.
There is only a 0.008% chance that this ship will survive a direct confrontation. One last act of sabotage may be what is required. I propose we swap transponder codes with another vessel. Given the aggressiveness of the Vodwar, there is a 68.4% chance they will turn on one another. We can escape in the confusion.
I like that idea. It's exciting. You look like a great contender. Go shoot each other. Point contact, sir. We're being contacted. Crap.
Well, you're alive. I guess that means the holo emitter did its job.
Your holo emitter was garbage.
But it did work. Contract complete.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Excellent work. Now that we know at least some of the Vodwar have been taken over by the neural parasites, we can form an appropriate plan of action. The one Vaadwaur who helped you, Commander Eldex, may be of assistance. It was clear that he was not aware of the corruption. With your permission, I will return to Voyager. There is much still to do before we will see the end of the Vaadwaur threat.
Permission is granted. Where is the Voyager hiding? There you are. It's nice to be able to have a ship that turns on a dime.
Thank you again. Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life. Captain, I think it's time to get out of here. Ah, the Starfleet ability to point out the obvious has never been so clear. Yes, let's depart the system. And Alliance Command will be contacting us in 3.
The existence of the neural parasite certainly explains the unusual physical abilities of the Vaadwaur, and perhaps their rapid return to prominence in the sector. You managed to take out 2 of their overseers, but I expect that more of their leadership has been infected. Perhaps this Commander Eldex can persuade more of his people to rebel against the infected Vaadwaur from within. But until then, we'll need to muster our allies and prepare to deal with this threat. We're not just facing the Vaadwaur anymore.
Okay, so let's grab the large hunk of experience, expertise, and more importantly, that sweet, sweet armor. There we go. I feel so much better now. And it is now the 10 o'clock hour, which means it is time to bring today's stream to a close.
The data from your mission against the Vaadwaur.
I said no, not doing it now. Next week, we will continue the Delta Quadrant arc, now that we have discovered that the Vaadwaur are perhaps not the biggest problem we have facing us in the Delta Quadrant. I hope that everyone has enjoyed the stream. I will be streaming Star Trek Online again next for Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I will also be streaming on Saturday, where I stream Star Citizen around 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern to approximately 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Again, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you, Fiendy. Whether you watch this live or if you see the recording somewhere else later on, this is Korath Landwalker, signing off.